You wake up in the middle of the night. The kitchen is dark, silent. You turn on the light, and suddenly, something moves. Cockroach. It freezes for half a second, then disappears under the refrigerator with terrifying speed. Most people react the same way. Disgust, panic, instant hatred. And honestly, who can blame them? Cockroaches crawl through garbage, drains, dirty corners, and abandoned places. They invade homes, contaminate food, multiply quickly. Some can even trigger allergies and asthma. For millions of people, killing a cockroach feels completely justified, almost automatic. But what if science says the story is more complicated? What if one of the most hated creatures on Earth is secretly playing an important role in keeping ecosystems alive? Because here's something most people never realize. Cockroaches are older than dinosaurs. They survived asteroid impacts, mass extinctions, extreme climate changes, and for hundreds of millions of years, while countless species disappeared forever, cockroaches endured. Why? What makes them so difficult to eliminate? And more importantly, would the world actually suffer if cockroaches disappeared tomorrow? The answer is stranger than most people expect. Because according to scientists, the disgusting insect hiding under your fridge may be part of a much bigger system. One humans barely understand. And once you see that system, you may never look at cockroaches the same way again. Humans are almost biologically programmed to hate cockroaches. Their appearance triggers discomfort instantly. The shiny body, the twitching antennae, the unpredictable movement, the way they scatter when lights turn on. Even their speed feels unnatural. Scientists believe some of this reaction may come from evolution itself. Humans evolved to avoid things associated with disease, decay, and contamination. Cockroaches often live in environments filled with bacteria and waste, so our brains learn to associate them with danger. In other words, your disgust may actually be ancient survival programming. But there's another reason people fear cockroaches. They seem unstoppable. You step on one, and somehow it still moves. You spray poison, yet more appear days later. They survive in heat, cold, darkness, tiny cracks. Some can even live for days without their heads because their nervous systems work differently from mammals. That sounds less like an insect, and more like something evolution designed specifically to survive disaster. Over time, cockroaches became symbols of filth and fear across cultures around the world. Movies portray them as nightmare creatures, apocalyptic survivors, mutated monsters, and honestly, they are incredibly resilient. But here's where things become interesting. Because despite humanity's hatred toward them, science discovered something unexpected. Most cockroach species are not household pests at all. In fact, out of more than 4,000 known cockroach species, only a tiny percentage regularly invade human homes. The vast majority live quietly in forests, caves, tropical environments, and ecosystems far away from people. And many of them are doing jobs nature depends on, which raises an uncomfortable question. Have humans judged an entire group of creatures based only on a few invasive species? Because once scientists started studying cockroaches in the wild, the image of these insects began to change. Deep inside forests, far away from human cities, cockroaches perform a task most people never notice. Cleanup. Nature is constantly producing dead material. Fallen leaves, rotting wood, dead animals, waste. Without decomposers, ecosystems would slowly choke under mountains of organic debris. That's where cockroaches come in. Many species feed on decaying matter, breaking it down into smaller nutrients that return to the soil. In simple terms, they help recycle life itself. And this process matters more than people realize. Healthy soil supports plants. Plants support insects and animals. Animals support predators. Every ecosystem depends on nutrients moving continuously through the food chain. Cockroaches help keep that cycle moving. Some scientists even believe certain forests would function differently without insect decomposers like cockroaches. But that's not their only role. Cockroaches are also food. Birds eat them. Reptiles eat them. Frogs, spiders, small mammals, Thousands of species rely on insects for survival, and cockroaches are part of that hidden food network. Remove enough prey from an ecosystem, and predators begin to disappear too. This is one of the biggest lessons ecology teaches us. Nature is connected in ways humans rarely notice. Even creatures we consider disgusting may be supporting life somewhere else. And that creates a strange contradiction. Because humans usually protect animals they find beautiful. Butterflies, pandas, dolphins, but ugly creatures? We often assume they are worthless. Yet ecosystems do not care about beauty. Nature cares about function. And function is exactly why cockroaches survived for so long. Cockroaches are ancient. Extremely ancient. Their ancestors existed more than 300 million years ago. That means cockroach-like insects were crawling across Earth long before humans existed. Long before dinosaurs ruled the planet. Think about that for a moment. Entire civilizations appeared and vanished in a tiny fraction of the time cockroaches have survived. So what makes them so successful? Adaptation. Cockroaches reproduce quickly. They eat almost anything. They hide efficiently. Their flat bodies allow them to squeeze through impossible spaces. And evolution shaped them into masters of survival. You've probably heard the famous myth that cockroaches could survive nuclear war. The truth is more complicated. Cockroaches are not invincible. Radiation can kill them. But compared to humans, many insects tolerate radiation better because their cells divide differently and more slowly. So while the nuclear-proof cockroach idea is exaggerated, it came from a real observation. These creatures are surprisingly durable. Scientists study cockroaches for another reason too. Robotics. Engineers have examined how cockroaches move through tight spaces without damaging their bodies. Some robots designed for disaster rescue missions are partially inspired by cockroach movement. That's right. One of humanity's most hated insects is helping inspire future technology. And the deeper scientists study cockroaches, the stranger they become. Some species communicate through chemical signals. Some live socially. Some carry microbes in their digestive systems that help break down tough organic material. They are not simple mindless monsters. They are highly specialized survivors created through millions of years of evolution. But despite all of this, there's still a serious problem. Because the cockroaches humans encounter inside homes can absolutely become dangerous. And this is where science draws an important line. Understanding cockroaches does not mean inviting them into your kitchen. Household cockroaches can spread harmful bacteria by walking across contaminated surfaces and food. Studies have linked infestations to health risks, especially in crowded urban environments. Cockroach droppings and body particles can worsen asthma and allergies, particularly in children. Hospitals and restaurants treat infestations very seriously for this reason. So science is not saying cockroaches are harmless heroes. Far from it. The reality is more balanced. Wild cockroach species may help ecosystems, but invasive urban cockroaches can create genuine human health problems. This distinction matters, because humans often think in extremes, good or evil, useful or useless, destroy or protect. Nature rarely works that way. Many animals become dangerous only when ecosystems and human environments collide. Rats spread disease in cities, yet wild rodents also support ecosystems. Mosquitoes can kill millions through disease, yet they also feed fish and insects. Cockroaches belong to this same complicated category. Useful in one context, dangerous in another. And this leads to one of the biggest questions scientists still debate. What would actually happen if cockroaches vanished completely? At first, many people might celebrate. But ecosystems are rarely that simple. Imagine waking up tomorrow to a world without cockroaches. Not one left alive. At first, cities might seem cleaner. Restaurants relieved. Homeowners happy. But slowly, nature would begin reacting. Birds that rely on insects lose part of their food supply. Small reptiles struggle. Some mammals face shortages. In forests, decomposition patterns begin changing. Dead organic matter breaks down more slowly in certain ecosystems. Soil chemistry shifts over time. Now, would Earth completely collapse? Probably not. Nature is adaptable. Other decomposers would likely expand and fill some ecological gaps. But scientists believe sudden removal of major insect groups can create ripple effects difficult to predict. Because ecosystems are like giant webs. Pull one strand, and vibrations spread everywhere. The real danger is not usually one species disappearing alone. It's mass insect decline overall. And that is already happening. Around the world, scientists are reporting alarming reductions in insect populations caused by habitat destruction, pesticides, pollution, and climate change. This phenomenon is sometimes called the insect apocalypse. And while people may not care about losing cockroaches specifically, the larger pattern worries scientists deeply, because insects pollinate crops, recycle nutrients, feed animals, maintain ecosystems. Without them, human civilization itself becomes unstable. In other words, the problem is bigger than cockroaches. Cockroaches simply force us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Even the creatures we hate may be connected to systems keeping Earth alive. Humans protect what they emotionally connect with. A tiger inspires awe. A butterfly looks beautiful. A dolphin seems intelligent. But cockroaches trigger disgust. And disgust changes morality. People rarely question killing insects they find ugly. But why? Why does beauty determine value? A forest does not care whether a species is attractive. Nature only cares whether it performs a role. And sometimes the least appreciated creatures are the ones quietly supporting entire systems behind the scenes. This is one of the strangest parts of ecology. The world is often held together not by majestic animals, but by tiny workers nobody notices. Fungi beneath the soil, bacteria in the oceans, insects in the darkness. Cockroaches belong to that hidden world. Not glamorous, not lovable, but functional. And maybe that is why their story feels so uncomfortable. Because they challenge the human belief that ugly things are unnecessary. They remind us that survival and importance are not the same as beauty. And perhaps that's why cockroaches disturb people so deeply. Not just because they look unsettling, but because they survive regardless of our hatred. For hundreds of millions of years, humanity did not exist. Cockroaches did. And if human civilization disappeared tomorrow, many scientists believe cockroaches would continue adapting long after us. That realization is strangely humbling. So, is killing cockroaches a mistake? Science gives a nuanced answer. Killing a dangerous household infestation to protect human health? Reasonable. Trying to exterminate every cockroach species from Earth? Potentially harmful and ecologically reckless. Because despite their terrible reputation, cockroaches are part of larger systems humans depend on. The truth is not that cockroaches are good. The truth is that ecosystems are complicated. Nature does not divide creatures into heroes and villains. Every species exists inside a network of relationships built over millions of years. And once humans start removing species without understanding those relationships, unexpected consequences can follow. That lesson applies far beyond cockroaches. It applies to insects, predators, forests, oceans, even microscopic organisms. The deeper science studies nature, the clearer one reality becomes. Life on Earth is interconnected, even in places humans refuse to look. So maybe the real question isn't, should cockroaches exist? Maybe the real question is, how much of nature do we destroy simply because we don't understand it? And somewhere tonight, in the darkness beneath a refrigerator, one of Earth's oldest survivors is still waiting, still adapting, still enduring. Long after dinosaurs vanished, long after empires collapsed, and possibly, long after humanity itself is gone.